What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Take Three podcast. We're here Tuesday morning, little switch up from the afternoon deal. We're here wrapping up week 8. We watched the Eagles improve to 7-0, keep it rolling coming out of the bye week. Hell of an A.J. Brown week, passing week as well, not a lot of running. Team showing they can kind of do a little bit of everything, defense and passing this week. We watched the Rams just get embarrassed on their home field. Cooper Kupp goes down. We don't know how long he'll be out. If he misses games, you can pretty much scratch the Rams season, if I'm being honest. They can't run the football. Their options outside of Cooper Kupp aren't good, and the defense has not been great. Packers, Bucks, they both keep it up. They both lose again. Sad that the Bills couldn't cover the 11, but it kind of is what it is. Josh Allen was not up to par, still got the job done. The Bengals last night, absolutely embarrassing effort. The O-line's bad. I guess Jamar Chase means that much, right? I mean, they look terrible on offense. They just get steamrolled. It looked like Georgia playing football against another SEC team, just getting physically dominated by the Browns, which is weird to say. Titans keep it up. They're weirdly 5-2 now. They just secretly kept winning, and I haven't really paid attention to their record, but they keep stacking up wins. Pretty much took control of the AFC South with the Colts going with Sam Ellinger, and they lost. Cowboys do it again. So, I mean, coming off of week 8, how are you feeling? What games did you enjoy? And I guess, what teams let you down? We'll get into I got a couple slides after that, but how you feeling coming off week 8?
Yeah, I feel good coming off week 8. Had a good weekend. The Eagles looked really good. A.J. Brown had a good week. Bets went pretty well. It was probably the best weekend of football of the year for me so far. And some weird outcomes, but it was a pretty good weekend of football. And all of a sudden the Cowboys offense is super good. So that ignites a ton of national media conversations. It's pretty entertaining. You got the Vikings sitting at 6-1. They still feel underrated. Their one loss being against the Eagles. So it's like the NFC is kind of getting interesting. And all of a sudden the Niners look good with Christian McCaffrey. Can they resurge 4-4 halfway through the year? A lot of football left. So the NFC is kind of tightening up. We're seeing like Niners, Vikings, Cowboys, Eagles, which I don't think were the 4 teams people were picking heading in.
For sure. For sure. The 49ers doing it. Yeah, Christian McCaffrey, what a game changer, right? A little bit of running, a little bit of passing too. Hits Brandon Ayuk. That helped with one of my picks, but too bad. I should have just rolled with Derrick Henry with the yards. Instead, I rolled Dameon Pierce. So did not get that. But let's move into what we got. We talked about it straight off the rip. Eagles improved to 7-0. They looked pretty damn good. They have everything rolling. Obviously, Jordan Davis went down. That kind of sucks. But the offense, to see them do it, the passing game, we've watched them do it in the run game. We knew they could do that. The passing looked amazing. As I said, the 17-0, it seemed possible. I'll give you the next games that we have. We played the Texans, obviously, Thursday. Long week. Commanders, Colts, Packers at home, Titans at home, Giants, Bears, Cowboys, Saints, and then finish out the season with the Giants. Do you think a 17-0 season is possible? I don't like the jinx. Obviously, Cowboys game is probably going to be a dogfight game. Division games are always weird, but I mean, is it crazy to start thinking about that with 10 games to go?
So it's all relative, right? Like it's definitely not likely, but like they have like a greater than 0% chance, which is like really saying something. Like obviously the Patriots did in 07, but like every team that's had a great team, they usually lose a few games down the stretch. No matter what, you're kind of locked up in playoff seeding, and then you got your division locked up, so it's gonna get interesting down the stretch. It's a fun conversation because the Eagles have looked so dominant and the schedule is so weak. There's definitely some tough division games coming up still, but like outside of that, it seems like a pretty soft schedule the rest of the way. So like I don't want to get too high on this topic because like the idea of that is so fun, but like the odds are still very, very slim. But like compared to like other teams in most years, because it would be such an anomaly. Like the Eagles got like relatively like a 1% chance, which is pretty dang good actually.
Yeah, I'm the opposite. I'm the weird guy. Like, I want to lose the game. Let's get it out of the way. Like, I don't want to go into the playoffs with an undefeated record. I think it's way too much pressure. I mean, everybody enters the playoffs with an undefeated record anyway. Everybody's 0-0 the second those playoffs start. So I don't want that amount of pressure sitting on any of our guys' shoulders. Like, lose a game or two. We'll probably still get the 1 seed with ease just because the schedule is that damn easy. But, I mean, it's a cool conversation, right? It's definitely a topic that you have to bring up. But I don't want to be 17-0. I think I said it to a guy at work. I was like, we don't need to be 17-0. Win 15 games, I'll be happy. 15-2, secure the bye, home field advantage, and let's roll with that, because I just think there's too much pressure to complete the undefeated once you get into the postseason.
I do agree with that point, especially because this is a younger team. Jalen's one playoff performance of his career last year was not stellar. Obviously, it was a 7th seed, way different circumstances. I expect him to play well in the playoffs. I don't think he's going to be nervous at all. But it's just unneeded extra pressure that's really not warranted. And although I do think the leadership in that locker room and the team is even keel and they would handle it well, there's no need to add it. You don't get bonus points. Yeah, sure. It's definitely a cool conversation. If you go through the playoffs, you win it all, you're undefeated. You can say, you can talk about a ton of hypotheticals, but at the end of the day, we just want to hold the Lombardi, right? So I do think it gives them a higher chance if they do lose a game or two.
Exactly. I feel like you're undefeated, and then the first playoff game, a bunch of stupid shit happens, and then it's all the pressure mounts because you're undefeated and some dumb shit happens. I don't need to see it. I think just get the 1 seed for me and I'm cool. Let's move on. Yeah, you mentioned the Cowboys as well. That offense looked really damn good. The defense, we knew what the defense was. The offense was kind of there. Dak tried to throw the Bears right back into the game before half. That was Dak just being Dak. He runs now too. I swear I haven't seen him run the ball much post-injury, but he was running the ball a little bit, obviously had a rushing touchdown. And then it's hard to ignore Tony Pollard. He's explosive. He looks like the guy they need to turn the reins over. I think it's it's not even sad, but I think they need to turn Zeke into kind of the short yardage, 3rd down bruiser back, right? Because the potential with Tony Pollard in that backfield is just it's untapped. He's that good. He's way more explosive. Even the 3rd string back they had out of Florida that was running, I was like, damn, even that guy is more explosive than Zeke is. So I think for them to really reach the peak, I think that would be a smart move to just turn the reins over to Tony Pollard. We kind of assume it's going to happen in the offseason anyway. But what do you think? Tony Pollard's got to be the running back 1 down there.
Oh yeah, I'm 100% on board. I think he should have been the running back 1 at the start of last season. I'm not completely down on Zeke. I still think he can be a very good, efficient player. I don't think he should be in the bell cow role. I like the short yardage idea. I like the red zone. He can get it done still, but I think in smaller usage would actually be really good for longevity for his career as well. But I think the Cowboys are going to, as soon as Zeke's back, he's going to get majority of the touches again. What's crazy is Tony Pollard, I don't think has ever had more than 15 carries in a game. Even Sunday when he was so damn dominant, I think he ended with 14. So I think Tony Pollard, he just needs more touches. You just got to give him the ball more. It was the Deebo Samuel and the Niners thing. That's why he was getting run back touches. You're so good, just give him the rock. And I think Tony Pollard should 100% be RB1, get the rock. But I'm fine if the Cowboys want to roll out and give most of the touches to Ezekiel Elliott. I think that plays in the Eagles' favor. But I think the smart thing is to give it to Tony Pollard. He's a younger player. He's more explosive. He's going to create bigger plays, which I think the offense desperately needs because I still don't think the passing game is that lethal. So, yeah, I would 100% moving forward make Pollard the RB1. I don't think it's going to happen, though.
No, I doubt it'll happen, dude. It's literally Jerry Jones. It's Mike McCarthy. We're trusting those guys to make smart business decisions. And at the end of the day, I don't see it happening. Not this season. As I said, they'll maybe move on from Zeke in the offseason. But yeah, by the time he's ready to come back, they'll throw him back out there and give him a three down back again.
Are you worried about this Cowboys team moving forward at all? We knew how elite the defense has been all year. This is Dak's 2nd game back. You got to assume the offense is going to improve more and more. But all of a sudden, they scored 49 points, which I think is a season high for the league so far this year. So any concern about the Cowboys moving forward? They're a pretty legit team.
Yeah, there's always a concern. They're a good club. They're right up there with us, right? The defense is good. You imagine if they don't lose Dak, well, they lost the opening season when the Bucs were actually a decent team. But yeah, there's always concern. They can run the ball well. We obviously lost Jordan Davis in the middle. Dak's only going to get better, you assume, as the weeks go on, right? And if he's actually running the ball, like I've said, he should have been doing that last year. For some reason, post ankle injury, he didn't want to run. It's his legs. He still can't throw on the run. I watched him try to throw across his body in the red zone, and he sailed the ball to the fans when he had an easy touchdown. I think it was the CeeDee Lamb. They eventually scored anyway. But yeah, they're good. They're good. It's hard to ignore. I take them a lot more serious than I do the Giants.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Basically, you pretty much nailed it. They definitely make me nervous. There's definitely a world where Dallas could go to the Super Bowl this year, and I hate saying those words.
For sure. I'd hate having to watch that shit on Super Bowl Sunday. Can't lie. Let's move on. AFC South, or not AFC South, NFC South. The first place Falcons, dude. The Panthers win a game, take helmets off, find ways to lose games. You got guys saying it shouldn't have been a penalty. I don't know. It was a penalty. The guy then shanks the extra point, and then honestly, it didn't even matter because they gave him an easier. They gave him a 33-yarder in OT to win the ball game off an interception from Marcus Mariota, and the guy shanked that too. So I mean, does it really matter if it was a penalty at the end of the day? Yeah, the Falcons, their first place. Do you think they can actually hold on? The Bucks lose again. It's just like it really feels like the race to 8 wins in the NFC South does it this year.
And so I was so wrong on the Atlanta Falcons. I picked them to win like 2 games. I just didn't see where the wins came from. And here they are winning. And think about it, dude. There was that terrible, terrible roughing the passer call when the Bucks played the Falcons earlier in the year, and the Falcons probably should have beat them then and would have put them at 5-3 and knocked the Bucks even lower. It's crazy to say, but I kind of do think Atlanta holds on simply because like the Bucks don't have a favorable schedule moving forward. They got still quite a few tough matchups, and it's like that often it's the offensive line for the Bucks, right? That's like, and we'll get into that with Cincinnati as well. But it's the same thing. Like if the offensive line is going to be bad, like I understand you got elite weapons and you have Tom Brady, so it is a little bit different, and like he can get it done. But man, we saw Mahomes in the Super Bowl against the Bucks. No offensive line. He's running for his life, and he's the best in the world right now. So it's like, if I don't think the Bucks can fix their offensive line this year at all. So like, it's wild to say, but I do think Atlanta holds on as of right now.
Yeah, they're sitting at 4-4. Just for the odds value, the Bucks are still -135, and the Falcons are sitting at 2-1, to +210 to win the NFC South. So maybe throw in a ticket if you want to make some money, and then you want to watch the Bucks reel off like 8 wins in a row out of nowhere.
Those Bucks odds dropped significantly from a week ago already too. I think they were -200 like just 1 week ago. So it flips fast too.
Oh yeah, and yeah, the schedules matter too, as you said. The Bucks, they're not schedule's not going to get it easier, and it doesn't look like the team's going to get any better anytime soon. So we'll see, man. The Falcons are fun, as I said. Race to 8 wins, maybe 9 wins wins you the NFC South, somewhere in there, 8 to 9. I don't think any of them gets to 10. I don't even. Yeah, if you get 10, that's like a bonus. Like you definitely won that division if you get to 10.
Yeah. I'd be impressed if they get to 10. I do think they'll get to 8 to 9.
Exactly. But yeah, both of those teams. So we'll keep watching on that. Last thing on the docket, the Seahawks. You took them. You said the Giants hype's done. Pretty smart. Geno did his thing. Daniel Jones just didn't do anything. No touchdowns, no picks. Saquon Barkley did find his way into the end zone. But yeah, the Seahawks, they used the home field. They improved to 5-3. And then the Jets lose as well. It seems like Bill Belichick, he just owns Zach Wilson. I think he had 3 interceptions or something like that. As I said, I mean, the Jets, they kind of have all the tools. It's going to come down to number 2. It's going to come down to Zach Wilson kind of making that leap as a quarterback to really take that team to the next level. But I mean, what do you make the Giants? They finally lose. They drop to 6-2 now, and the Jets are 5-3, I want to say. Yeah. So what do you make? Both Giants teams lose same day. They're winning same days and they're losing same days.
Yeah, so for the Giants and the Seahawks first, like the Seahawks are clearly a legit team. I think the Niners are going to steal that division, but I think the Seahawks are going to make it a race like all the way down the stretch. They're pretty fun to watch. Like shout out Geno. Kenneth Walker didn't have a big game Sunday, but he's been really good for the team. So like I'm happy for Seattle. Like it's actually been fun to watch. I thought it was going to be a hard opposite going in. And to the Giants, 6-2, they're better than I thought. I still don't think they're as good as their record says. We'll see down the stretch. And I just felt like something had to give finally. I kept picking against them, so I can't take too much credit. It was more of a pattern. Finally got it right. But I mean, winning in Seattle is hard no matter who the quarterback is, and that team's better than we think. So, like, pretty impressive to win by 14 at home. Like, the Seahawks look good. I think the Giants will bounce back. I think they've proven they're a winning football team this year. But I don't know, second half, long half, we'll see. And then to the Jets point, like pretty impressive for New England to come back and win that game. I totally thought granted, the New England Patriots were favored. Vegas usually knows best. But it just felt like those teams were going in opposite directions. New England was kind of like in like a weird middle area with the quarterback. Mac Jones came back, got a win. I think New York still has plenty to build off of. They just once again need to see more from Zach Wilson in that offense. But like I think all 4 of these teams have had pretty decent starts to the year. Maybe New England expected a little bit more, but like I think all of them are pretty happy with where they're standing right now.
Yeah, Seahawks, semi-competent ball club. As I said, preseason, give them a few dubs just because playing in Seattle is difficult. And then I go away from that mold this week and don't pick them. But yeah, I mean, it's good for Geno Smith. I'm happy for the guy. The guy's shown that he still has it somehow when everybody kind of wrote him off and said that the Seahawks would be dog shit because they traded Russell Wilson. And then yeah, when you look at the Giants, I mean, they get a bye week this week, and then they play the Texans and the Lions back to back. They could realistically be sitting at 8-2, heading into a Cowboys showdown on Thanksgiving Day. So it could be 8-2 Giants taking on 8-2 Cowboys Thanksgiving Day. I mean, what a or 7-2 Cowboys. So, I mean, a good matchup. It's going to be a premier Thanksgiving matchup with the Giants and the Cowboys if they both keep winning and handle their business.
Premier battle for second place.
That's what I'm saying. It's weird to anything with Giants football and saying Premier football is it's bizarre.
Just to highlight the NFC East, just to wrap it up real quick, but bizarre because I mean you're talking about 8-2 teams potentially battling for second place, and then all of a sudden Washington sitting at 4-4 with 2 losses being the Cowboys and Eagles. Like the NFC East is just dominating outside of the NFC East. It's pretty remarkable to see, honestly.
For sure. So here's week 8 spread picks. As you see on my side, bunch of red when you trust teams like the Bucks, and then Russell Wilson finally decides to win a game. Zach Wilson throws a game away. The Falcons win by 3. The Raiders can't score any points. You trust Sam Ellinger. When you make a lot of bad picks, and the Bengals, they just suck. Like, I don't know what to say. As I said at the top, I guess Jamar Chase means that much. Their O-line, I don't know. Would they spend $70 million on it? I'm not seeing much improvement. I mean, maybe they had a decent stretch of ball games, but they also found a way to get Jamar Chase the football in those ball games. The Bengals are in trouble. I mean, they really, with how good the AFC is, it's tough. But any games that piss you off, the Raiders not scoring any points kind of makes me the most mad.
The Raiders I gave up on like at a halftime. They were pretty bad. The Bills pissed me off because they won by 10. The cover was 11, and Josh Allen had a bad game, right? He threw 2 interceptions, uncharacteristic. Like, I think the Bills normally cover there pretty easily. That one was the only one that I was actually annoyed with. And then just to talk about the Bengals real quick, like they're closer to that like rookie version team than they are to the team last year right now. I mean, I think I picked them to go really far this year. I picked them to win the AFC North, win like 12, 13 ball games. That's not happening if that offensive line's like that. They were so atrocious last night. It was honestly an embarrassing performance. Jamar Chase does so much for that offense even when he's not catching the ball. It's just that if that's going to be the offensive line performance, just wrap it up now halfway through the year, because it was just so atrocious, and you spent so much money on the offensive line, which was the problem point for a Super Bowl appearance team. So like I think everyone thought like you fix that offensive line, they'll be real good. It's not as easy as it looks. It's more impressive that Kansas City did it in one offseason. So like I kind of thought Cincinnati would be able to do the same thing with big signings, and it has just been so atrocious.
Yeah, O-line, terrible. A lot of money spent. They missed Jamar Chase. It's as simple as that. And their scheme, I don't know. It's like a vanilla scheme. It's not that they don't scheme to the O-line not all being there. It's a lot of long dropbacks, long developing plays. And the run game really hadn't been that great. I mean, obviously they get behind the 8 ball last night. So it's only 8 carries, 27 yards out of Joe Mixon. That's not ideal. I mean, you figure you'd want to pound the rock, right? You'd lose a weapon on the outside. You'd want to kind of try to play more ball control. But I don't know what Zach Taylor's doing, right? Who knows? It's weird to see that both Super Bowl teams from last year kind of both enduring the same shit, right? I mean, the quarterbacks haven't really been amazing. The O-lines are awful. Defenses haven't really helped you out. It's kind of both Super Bowl teams are in the same boat. Bengals in a little better shape, sitting at 4-4, not getting swept by their division rival and being sitting behind the 8 ball. The Rams are just they're really bad, dude. They got embarrassed at home. Cooper Kupp, as I mentioned, going down. They could be in desperate measures as well. Do you think Sean McVay is still kind of that elite? We were talking about this in a not to go crazy and have this run. We were talking about like how elite really is he, right? I mean, you go back a couple of years ago when you watched that Jared Goff performance, the Chiefs Rams, like that was schematics to a T, right? Like it looked like that guy, the scheme was there. And then you kind of watch it this year and it's like, is the scheme Whitworth? I mean, you lose one Andrew Whitworth, you can't run the ball. The schematics, they seem a little maybe deteriorating as time goes on.
You know, that's actually a really fun topic and conversation to me, because Yes, he won a Super Bowl last year, but even prior to that, when you're talking about the Jared Goff, Chiefs, Rams years, I'm going to use Doug Peterson and the Eagles as an example because I used to like as an Eagles fan, I was biased because they would always pick Sean McVay. I mean, it wasn't like a big national conversation, but whenever those two coaches got compared, everyone picked Sean McVay. Now, I would always ride with Doug biasly, but I'd be like, Doug coaches with like balls, like fourth downs, he goes for it. We saw him win a Super Bowl doing that because they always said Sean McVay's this like young offensive mind. He plays he coaches with like conviction. He goes for this and that. But like I'd watch those Rams teams, and yeah, they do go for it. But whenever it was tight and it was crunch time and the game was on the line, and there was like a fourth down or a third and one or a fourth and one, they always punted or kicked a field goal. They always chose a conservative route. Because I remember watching for like 2-3 seasons in a row, and I was like, dude, what are they doing? What are they doing? Like, just go for it there. And it was like we saw that in the Super Bowl against the Patriots too. Sean McVay has even talked about that now that he can reflect on it. So like I always thought Sean McVay was a very, very good coach, but I always thought he was overrated in like crunch times. Cause like I saw Doug Super Bowl on the line, go for it, fourth down, like when it mattered most. And like the Rams would go for it except when it mattered most. I always felt like they were always punting, kicking field goals when it mattered most. So like I always questioned Sean McVay in crunch time. And just to point out, last year on the last playoff run, they tried to give it away a couple times, especially that Buccaneers game. They had no business for it being needing a Cooper Cup catch late to win that game. They kind of folded down the stretch, but they got lucky and they escaped. And you know, sometimes it takes a little bit of that. But like I think that's a really interesting conversation because I always thought when it was like crunch time and clutch time, Sean McVay did not make the best coaching decisions.
Yeah, it's just, yeah, I don't know. It's interesting, as you said, it's an interesting debate when people just try to make excuses. They say one coach should scheme it up better, and then it's like I hear like another guy gets a free pass, no running back, the O-line's bad. It's like I don't know. You watch Kyle Shanahan kind of cycle in running backs like it's nothing. Get it done with the Jeff Wilsons of the world using. I mean, they use Raheem Mostert for a little bit. Now they have McCaffrey, obviously an elite back, but he kind of, as I say, if you're an elite scheme guy, as we're gonna say. You should be able to find a way to get it done. But I mean, that's all I have. Not to have this thing run on. You got any kind of closing notes before we wrap this thing up?
No, excited to head into week 9. We got the Eagles on Thursday night. We'll see if we can get to 8-0. Feel good about it.
For sure. Eagles Thursday night, Phillies World Series baseball Thursday night too. A double Houston matchup. That should be something to watch. Should be good. But I'm excited for week 9 as well. That's going to wrap it up for this one. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Please drop any feedback in the